you mentioned the meat processing industry would be very affected by a ban on trophy hunting. Tell us how the meat processing industry would be affected.
Okay, first if you look at trophy hunting, most of the meat stays behind in South Africa for trophy hunters. Your local hunters, they take the meat home, they eat it, and we make biltong and sausages thereof. If one is going to ban on trophy hunting, there's a lot of meat which is lost because the farm owner or the hunting operator use this meat again on the lodge, so it's healthy meat that is they use for the guests. And some of it's also sold to the local community, and it's a huge source of protein for local communities in those areas. And if you look at hunting where it takes place, it's more your rural provinces where they hunt. And so this will have an impact on meat for the local communities in that areas.
On the topic of game farms and game lodges, you said that the majority of their income, or they get a lot of income from trophy hunting. Where does this income go, and how does it help to support not only the lodge but the community?
Yeah, it depends on where the trophy hunter is situated, but if it's in South Africa, most of our operators, hunting operators, are situated in South Africa, so that goes to that provinces where they are situated. Depends on where they buy their supplies and stuff, but presumably they buy most of their food and those, and also job creation in those areas. So a large portion of that income goes directly to that provinces where the hunting operator is situated. It's only in cases where hunting operators are situated outside South Africa where there's a leakage, and in our case in South Africa, most of the hunting operators is situated in South Africa and in the province where they hunt.
Do you think that the people who are pushing for this ban on trophy hunting really understand what they're pushing for?
Yeah, difficult question. I think sometimes people are very emotional about wildlife, and I understand that. I fully understand that, and I think that they only see sometimes that the animal being shot and the photos of animals being shot, but they don't realize the underneath businesses which lie beneath only except seeing the animal that's been shot. So I don't know if they really understand always what our youth industry is.
Now, if there is a ban on trophy hunting in South Africa, in your opinion, will this push us into a deeper economic crisis? I mean, jobs is a topic of conversation no matter which sector you're speaking about. Do you think we'd be pushed into a deeper economic crisis?
Yes, definitely. I think so, because if you look where hunting takes place, as I said, it's rural provinces, Limpopo province, Northwest, Northern Cape, Eastern Cape, the Free State province. Those are the biggest provinces where hunting do take place. We did some research in 2010-11 on only two of our big hunting destinations like the Northern Cape and the Limpopo, and combined these, the direct impact on job creation in these two provinces were around about 20,000 people, which is employed by the hunting industry in these provinces. If you look at the spending, our statistics shows in 2013 that South African hunters spend around about 6.3 billion on hunting, whereas your trophy hunters spend in the vicinity of 1.2 to 1.5 billion. So we immediately speak around about 7 to 8 billion rand on hunting. And this takes place in your rural provinces. I mean, it's definitely going to have a big impact on job creation and money in these provinces where you don't find normal big tourism attractions like Mpumalanga. You do have the Kruger National Park in some of these places. But the Limpopo, although the part of Kruger National Park in the north, the larger part of this province is rural, and we need job creation in these areas. Research also indicated that the game farm of your game ranch employ 3 to 4 times more people on a game ranch. When they combine all the sectors of our hunting industry, like hunting and breeding, meat processing and taxidermy, so it's a huge industry.
Professor, what are your predictions? Do you think South Africa is going to ban trophy hunting, or do you think that we can find some sort of middle ground, or is this conversation going to fizzle away until the next big incident?
Yeah, I would like to find a middle ground. Our statistics also indicate that if you look at conservation or where wildlife is kept hold in South Africa, you will see that the private sector, if you look at the total agricultural land available in South Africa, 16% of those are under private ownership, which is and 60% of private ownership in game runs and game farms, and only about 6% of that is covered by your government, state-owned organizations like national parks and provincial parks. So therefore, 80% of wildlife currently in South Africa is on private land. And I mean, it's going to have, one has to look at it, at the end of the day, we will have a big decline in wildlife, because your private sector, if there's no economic value to it, they won't keep it on their farms. I mean, if they have to decide, listen, if I need to farm of cattle or wildlife or hunting tourism, they will keep the one that brings them the best income and the best return on investment. And if there's no economic value to wildlife in South Africa, I can foresee that there will be a huge decline. Even if you look at our history, prior to hunting, that wildlife started to have an economic value in the 1980s, we had huge decline in our animal population numbers in South Africa. I recently also read an article by Ripple et al., who did a study on large herbivores in the world, and there's a huge decline in animal numbers, and we've got a huge increase in wildlife in South Africa. If you look since 1998 to 1990, you can see an incline in population number of wildlife. Research of other academics indicated that we've around about 19 million head of wildlife in South Africa. I mean, if a private sector, which owns 80% thereof, if they are going to be affected by this, I can now see that there's not going to be, it's going to be a big impact on our wildlife numbers.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.